Hello and welcome to Jerry's Corner's Kitchen. And today I'm doing something of a request. I was asked on a recent comment what my favourite dishes for the fall were, or autumn as we like to say in Cornwall. Well, this is one of them. It's pork braised in cider. Now there's a lot of other ingredients and this is one tasty dish. So let's have a look at the ingredients, shall we? So here's our ingredients for our lovely pork and cider. I have 4 pork shoulder steaks, 3 rashers of smoked streaky bacon, 3 onions which I'm going to finely slice. Now the recipe will say 2 medium onions, but I could only get small ones, so I'm using 3. I've got 1 Bramley apple which I will peel, core and slice, and 1 sweet apple which I will just core and slice. I have cranberry sauce which I'm going to use to sweeten and balance the meal, so I'm going to do this to taste. I have black pepper. Now I normally use this as a seasoning, but this dish uses quite a lot of black pepper, so I've included it as an ingredient. Then we have 300 ml of an apple cider. We have 1 chicken stock cube, which I'm going to add to 200 ml of boiling water. We have 1 teaspoon of dried mixed herbs, 6 dried juniper berries, which I will crush with the flat of a knife and put in whole, 2 bay leaves, 3 cloves of garlic, which I will finely chop, and we have 4 teaspoons of corn flour, which I will add to 4 teaspoons of cold water, stir it, mix it well, and add it at the end to thicken. Right, let's make this lovely dish, shall we? So we put a pan on a medium hot heat, allow it to get hot, and add some oil. Once this is hot, we put our bacon into it. The bacon we've chopped into what we would call lardons. Give it a good stir, and what we're going to try and do is render off some of the fat. This is where the flavour's at. Let the bacon cook and see the fat come off. We're now going to add our black pepper. As I said before, this isn't just a seasoning, this is a really good grind of black pepper. This will give the sauce a really good depth of flavour and really add to the overall dish. We let this keep on cooking, and now we put in the juniper. This is when it starts to smell so good. Bacon, black pepper and juniper. What a wonderful combination. Once we're happy that we've rendered off enough of the fat, we put in our sliced onions. Give them a good stir. And what we're trying to do now is not just sweat the onions off, but to colour the onions. We now also put in the 2 bay leaves and the mixed dried herbs. Give it a good stir and continue to cook. We're going to keep cooking this until the onions have started to go brown. Again, this will give the dish a much greater depth of flavour. But remember, we do not want to burn them. Once we're happy that the onions have cooked down enough, we add in our chopped garlic. Give this a stir, and now we'll continue to cook it some more. The flavours now of the onions, the garlic, the bacon, the juniper, the herbs, so good, just so good. So as you can see now, everything is cooked down just nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a small amount of our cider. This will mean that we can deglaze the pan, getting any of those stuck little bits on the bottom. Again, bringing up all the flavour and making sure that we make the most of every last little bit. Give it a good stir, and when we're happy that the bottom of the pan has been deglazed, we pour in the rest of the cider. We can then add our chicken stock cube, which we've dissolved in 200 ml of boiling water, and into the mix this goes. We now bring this up to a really good simmer And once we're happy it's simmering, this is the time to taste it. As I say, we have to put the cranberry sauce in to taste, because not all ciders are going to be the same. Some are drier than others, some are sharper than others. So what we're doing with the cranberry is we're just balancing these flavours. Not too sharp, not too sweet. So we taste it. I've put a couple of heaped teaspoons in, give it a stir, and then we'll taste it again. See what we think. Okay, let's have a little bit more cranberry, I think. And in goes another heaped teaspoon. So in total, that was 3 heaped teaspoons of cranberry. But of course, how sweet you like it is up to you. Give this a good stir and make sure that the cranberry is nicely dissolved. Once we've done this, we're going to add some of our corn flour mixed with cold water. The corn flour and cold water mixture is called a slurry, but we add bit by bit and let it thicken up. It needs to be fairly thick at this stage because as the pork steaks cook they will give off some juice and thin it. So again, it'll be slightly thicker maybe than you would be comfortable with, but the pork will thin it down, I promise you. Now we're on to the last bit really. We put in the chopped cooking apples. As you can see, I've sort of diced these and they go into it. And then we put in the sliced sweet apple or dessert apple. The dessert apple I just cored and then sliced so that when we have the finished dish we'll have some lovely slices of apple as well. Because the Bramley apple will pretty much dissolve into the sauce, whereas the dessert apple will retain its shape and will stay whole. So once we've added the apple and given it a good stir, this is our cider and apple sauce ready to go. Right, so now what we have to do is cook off the pork steaks. So we put a frying pan onto a very hot heat. Add some oil and wait for it to start smoking. Once the oil has started to smoke, we add the pork steaks. Careful you don't splash yourself, that fat will be hot. Put the 4 steaks into the pan, and once they're in the pan, don't move them around too much. Just let them brown up. Once they've been sat there for a while, we can turn them over. As you can see, they're starting to get some nice flavour, but we want more than that. Remember, those lovely brown bits, again, that's where the flavour's at. So we'll turn them over and we'll brown this side. You may have to turn the steaks over 2 or 3 times, but again it's really worth doing this. The caramelisation on that pork will add so much flavour to the overall dish. And don't they look great? So now I'm going to give the pork steaks a very gentle seasoning with just salt. Not too much, but just a small amount. And now it's time to assemble our dish. So I've preheated my oven to 180 centigrade, 160 fan, 350 Fahrenheit or gas mark 4. Now we're going to assemble our pork braised in cider. So here we have our lovely pork steaks with a lovely bit of colour on them. There we go. Make sure they're in a single layer. Now we've got some juices from the pan. Whoa. That's proper flavour, that is. And now we have our cider sauce. Oh. The smells coming off this are insane. This is beautiful. Now I hope you can see the autumnal flavours. There we are. Then we cover it in tin foil, or aluminium foil I guess. And as you can see, I've got this sitting on a tray, because as most of you know by now, I would prefer to clean a tray than my oven. And this is going to go into the oven for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I'll check it at an hour and a half and the pork should be beautiful and tender, but if it needs slightly longer, I'll leave it in for slightly longer. Right, off it goes. So here we have it, our pork and cider. Now mine took exactly an hour and a half, but check yours, it just needs to be really tender and cooked through. Whoa, it smells so good, it looks so good. Right, I think we should serve up a little portion. And there we go, pork and cider. What an absolutely stunning dish. Perfect for an autumnal evening. Lovely with a bit of mash, lovely with a bit of roast potato. Anyway, there we go. Well, there we have it. What an absolutely stunning autumnal dish. I'm going to save mine for when my wife and my kids are home. I'm going to have it with some mashed potato and some cabbage. Now I hope you've enjoyed watching Jerry's Cornish Kitchen, and if you have, subscribe, press the like button and leave a comment. You never know, I might do a request for you one of these days. Thanks for watching and see you again soon. Bye for now.